His hand brushed mine as I passed him the files. Cold, firm, like ice over fire. Mr. Saito never smiled, never joked, never looked at me longer than 2 seconds. But today something was different. Today when I whispered, "Yes, Daddy," as a joke, his pen snapped, and his eyes, they burned holes right through me. Subscribe to our channel Cherryboyhearts BL, where the joke turns into a dirty little secret. Like, comment, "Daddy likes this," if you want to see what happens in the office elevator. Now let's begin. When I first got hired at Saito Corp, all I cared about was the paycheck. Being a junior assistant for Japan's youngest, hottest, most stone-cold CEO sounded like hell. But I was broke and desperate. And I never expected hell to look that good in a black suit. Mr. Kaito Saito, 34, rich beyond belief, eyes like frozen steel, voice like thunder during a storm. He walked like the world bowed to him. And maybe it did. But I didn't. Not really. Okay, maybe a little. Especially when he leaned over my desk and his tie brushed my cheek. Or when he spoke low, telling me to bring the reports now. And my legs would wobble like jelly. He wasn't just cold. He was ice. Never smiled. Never said, "Thank you." Never even looked me in the eye unless he had to. So I did what any bored, slightly horny assistant would do. I teased him. Started small. A wink when he was frustrated. A smirk when he corrected my notes. And then one day, the words just slipped out. "Yes, Daddy." Silence. I didn't even realize what I said until I saw his hand freeze mid-signature. Snap. His pen cracked. Ink spilled across the document. He looked up at me. Dead. Cold. Silent. My heart raced. My throat dried. But I kept my cool. Barely. "It's a joke," I said, laughing nervously. "You know, boss, Daddy. Power dynamics. All that." He didn't laugh. Of course not. He leaned back in his chair, hands steepled in front of his lips. His eyes scanned me slowly, head to toe. "I don't like jokes in my office," he said. His voice was low, dangerously low, like a growl. I should have been scared. But instead, I felt heat crawl up my spine. My skin tingled. My pulse spiked. He looked like he wanted to kill me or kiss me, and I didn't know which one I wanted more. The next day, he called me in earlier than usual. The room was quiet, curtains drawn. He didn't look up when I entered. "Coffee," he said. I set the cup on his desk. His fingers brushed mine again. This time it lingered. "You wore cologne," he said, still not looking at me. I swallowed hard. Thought I'd try something new. He leaned back, finally meeting my eyes. "That scent doesn't suit you." My lips curled. "Oh, you don't like sweet." "I don't like distractions," he snapped. But his eyes, they weren't cold today. They were burning. Burning like he'd imagined pinning me against that desk. It became a game. Every day I pushed a little more, leaning too close, buttoning my shirt just a little too low, touching his shoulder lightly when I handed him files. And every time I called him, "Daddy," low under my breath, he reacted. Just a twitch, just a clench of the jaw. But I saw it. I saw everything. Friday, late night at the office. We were alone. Thunder roared outside. Rain slammed against the glass windows. He stood by the glass wall, staring at the city like a king over his empire. I walked up behind him with the final reports. He didn't turn. "You enjoy playing with fire, don't you?" he asked. I stepped closer. Our reflections stood side by side in the glass. "You're the one who let the match burn," I whispered. He finally turned. Slowly, his gaze swept down my body. My shirt was a little damp from the rain, clung to my chest. My nipples were probably showing. His jaw tightened. "You don't know what you're asking for. Try me," I said. My voice was soft, but the look I gave him wasn't. He took one step forward. My back hit the wall. His hand pressed beside my head. His breath hit my cheek. He smelled like mint, wood, and danger. "You think this is a game?" he whispered. "I take things. I don't ask. I ruin." "Then ruin me," I whispered. For a second, I thought he'd do it. Kiss me. Grab me. Bite me. but he stepped back. His eyes darkened. His voice dropped. "Go home, Yudo." My name in his mouth felt like sin. "You're boring tonight," I said, turning to leave. "Wear a tighter shirt on Monday," he said. My steps paused. I looked back. He wasn't smiling, but his eyes were hot. "Why?" He licked his bottom lip. "Because next time you call me daddy, I won't hold back." I didn't sleep all weekend. Not because I was busy. Not because I had anything important to do. But because my boss told me to wear a tighter shirt. And my mind wouldn't shut up about it. "Because next time you call me daddy, I won't hold back." I replayed that line 1,000 times. His voice, his stare, that heat I felt when he cornered me by the window. I stood in front of my mirror on Monday morning, buttoning my pale blue shirt. The fabric clung to my chest, my waist, my arms. It was a little too snug, a little too see-through. I knew what I was doing, but I didn't know what I was walking into. The day passed slowly. He didn't say a word to me, not even when I brushed his shoulder, not when I leaned over his desk, not when I let my fingers touch his by accident. He was ice again, untouchable, like the whole Friday night never happened. But then at 5 p.m., his voice rang from behind me. "You're coming with me." An unexpected business dinner. Just the two of us. A client wanted to meet at a hotel in Shibuya. We took his car. He sat in the back. I opened the door to join him, but my heart pounded like a drum in my chest. The windows were tinted, the lights inside low. The rain made soft thuds on the roof. The driver didn't speak, just me, and him, in the back seat. Like a trap I walked into willingly. I sat beside him, not too close, not too far. His leg brushed mine. I felt it through the fabric, the tension, the air. He didn't move, didn't flinch, just kept scrolling through his phone like nothing was happening. Until he finally spoke. "I like the shirt." My throat dried. "Thought you would," I said. He put down his phone, turned toward me. His knee pressed fully against mine now. And then, he reached out. His fingers brushed my collar. Slowly, like he was memorizing it. His thumb ran along the edge. I held my breath. "You wore it for me." It wasn't a question. It was a statement. I looked up at him. His face was so close. That scent again. Fresh, dark, expensive. "You told me to," I whispered. "Would you do anything I told you to?" he asked. My mouth opened, then closed. He smirked. "Good, because I'm going to touch you now." My heart stopped. Then it raced like a wild thing. His hand slid down my collarbone, his knuckles grazing skin, then lower. His fingers traced my chest, stopping just above my nipple. His thumb rubbed gently. I gasped. I hated how soft my voice sounded, how needy, how ready I already was. "Sensitive?" he murmured, voice like silk against my ear. I nodded. "Words," he said. "Use your voice." "Yes," I breathed. He smiled then, just a little, like he was enjoying this far too much. His fingers flicked my button open. Then another. Then another. Cool air hit my chest. His palm lay flat against my skin. Warm. Firm. He leaned in. Our lips didn't touch, but they were close. Too close. "Why do you call me daddy?" he asked. I could barely think. "Because it makes you mad," I whispered. "And because I like the way you look when you're mad." He chuckled low, dark, dangerous. "You want to be punished then?" That word. Punished. My whole body burned. "Maybe," I whispered. He finally kissed me. It wasn't soft. It wasn't slow. It was everything. His mouth crashed into mine, tongue deep, tasting, claiming. One hand still on my chest, the other cupping the back of my neck, holding me there like I was something he owned. Kissed him back. Hungry, needy, moaning softly into his mouth. My fingers gripped his wrist like I was drowning. The car moved, but I didn't feel it. Time disappeared. All I knew was his mouth, his hands, his breath. And then his hand slid lower, past my chest, to my waist, to the edge of my belt. He didn't undo it. Not yet. Just rested his hand there. fingers teasing, thumb brushing over my hip bone. "You want more?" he asked, lips brushing my ear. I nodded quickly. "Yes. Say it. Please, Daddy." He growled. Actually growled. I gasped again. "You're playing a dangerous game, Yudo," he whispered. "I already lost," I said. "So take what you want." The driver turned left. We were getting close, but his hand didn't stop. His touch became firmer. His fingers pressed harder. He nibbled my jaw, licked under my ear. My whole body arched toward him. "After this dinner," he said, "you're not going home alone." "Where am I going?" "To my apartment." Couldn't breathe. "You going to punish me?" I whispered. He licked his lips. "I'm going to make you beg." We arrived, but I couldn't move. My shirt was half undone. My lips were swollen. My body ached for more. He fixed his collar, calm like he didn't just make out with me like a man starved. "Clean yourself up," he said, tossing a handkerchief toward me. "You look ruined already." I caught it, cheeks burning. "And Yudo," he added before stepping out. I looked up. His voice dropped again. "Don't call me Daddy in front of the client. Please subscribe to our channel for more interesting stories. Let's continue." "Don't fall for your boss," they said, but I already did. And when the elevator doors closed, he didn't stop at just touching me. We were in Kyoto for a tech summit. Big clients, big deals, big money, and just one room. That's how he planned it. Hotel was overbooked, he'd said, but I knew better. Mr. Saito didn't make mistakes. So here we were, sharing a suite, 2 beds, but just 1 bathroom, and 0 distance between us. He didn't say much during the flight, just tapped away on his tablet, ignoring the heat simmering between us. But I felt it, every time his shoulder brushed mine, every time his fingers reached over me for the seatbelt, every time our eyes met and lingered too long. I tried to stay professional. I really did. But when we entered the suite, and I saw him tug off his tie and toss it on the chair like he owned the whole damn planet, I almost lost it. And when he turned and said, "Take off your jacket," in that deep, cool voice, my knees did go weak. I obeyed, tossed my blazer over the couch, loosened my collar, felt his eyes trail me like a slow drag of fire across my skin. He walked past me, brushing close, too close, as he headed to the minibar. "Whiskey?" he asked. "Sure." He poured 2 glasses, handed me one. The way he watched me drink it, like I was the damn glass. Dinner was quiet. We sat by the window, Kyoto's skyline glowing beneath the dark clouds. His voice was calm, controlled, businesslike, but his eyes, wild. After the last bite, I leaned back, licking sauce off my thumb slowly, teasing. I watched his jaw clench. "I'm going to shower," I said, standing. He didn't respond, but I saw his gaze trail down my body. He wanted it. He just didn't want to admit it. Steam filled the bathroom. I let the hot water run over my body. I wanted to cool down, but the memory of his voice, his kiss, his fingers on my belt, I was burning. I wrapped a towel around my waist and stepped out. He was on the bed, shirtless, laptop on his lap, pretending to work. I paused. My mouth dried. He looked up slowly, eyes raking down my bare chest, my damp hair, the water trickling down my stomach. Then softly, "Come here." I walked to him. My feet moved on their own. The air between us thickened. I stood by the bed. He set the laptop aside. His hand reached for my wrist, pulled me closer. His fingers trailed up my arm, slow and warm. "You're playing a dangerous game again, Yudo," he murmured. "Then punish me," I whispered. His eyes darkened, and in the next second, he yanked me down. I landed on his lap. His mouth was on mine, hot, hungry, like he'd been waiting days to taste me again. His hand slid up my back, fingers digging into my damp skin. My towel fell loose, forgotten. I straddled him, moaning softly as our hips pressed together. His breath hitched. "You've been teasing me for weeks," he growled. "Walking around with that mouth, that smile. saying daddy like it's a game. It wasn't a game, I gasped, as his lips trailed down my neck. It was a plea. He chuckled, biting softly at my collarbone. I'm going to ruin you. He flipped me, pressed me into the bed, his body over mine heavy and hot. He kissed down my chest, slowly, worshipping every inch like he'd memorized it. My hands tangled in his hair, my back arching. Every breath, every moan, it echoed through the suite like sin. He pulled back just long enough to look down at me. His lips were swollen, his chest rising fast. You're mine now, he said. Then take me, I whispered, and he did. The night blurred, sheets tangled, clothes scattered, my cries muffled into his shoulder. His name on my lips like a prayer, over and over and over. He whispered things in my ear, dirty, sinful things, but there was sweetness in them too. Possessiveness I'd never seen before. I've wanted you since day one. You belong to me now. Say it, say you're mine. I said it. I screamed it, over and over, until my voice broke, until he kissed me again, softer this time, slower, like we were more than just lust, like we were something real. Hours passed. Rain hit the windows. The room smelled of sweat and skin and whiskey and something unspoken. We lay tangled together, my head on his chest. He was quiet, stroking my hair. I looked up at him. So, is this still just a game to you? I asked. His fingers paused, then moved again. No. He turned his head, eyes meeting mine. I want you in every way, not just in my bed. I swallowed. I'm still your assistant. You were never just that, he said. We didn't say much after that. Words weren't needed. His arms were enough. His warmth, his touch. I fell asleep like that. Naked, sore, held tight against the man who used to scare the hell out of me. Now, he made me feel wanted. Like I was more than just a boy playing pretend. More than a body. I was his. And tomorrow, the world could find out. Let them. I wouldn't hide. He still acts cold in public. Still glares like a storm cloud. Still calls me Assistant Yudo. Like I didn't scream his name while he was inside me. But in private, he holds me like I'm the only thing keeping him breathing. 2 weeks passed since Kyoto. 2 weeks of hiding glances in the elevator. Of brushing fingers under the conference table. Of sneaking into his penthouse after dark like some forbidden lover from a drama series. We were perfect together, but no one could know. At least not yet. Back at the office, he was the same Mr. Saito. Sharp, cold, dangerous. He barked orders across the floor like usual. And every time he said, Yudo in my office. Now, people flinched. They didn't know that behind that door, he'd be pulling me onto his lap 5 minutes later. Our rules were simple. No touching at work. No flirting in front of others. And no saying daddy where cameras or ears could catch it. But breaking those rules, that became part of the thrill. Like the time I bent over to pick up a paper beside his desk. Slowly, knowing his eyes were on my ass. Or the time I accidentally spilled coffee on my shirt and walked around in just a tank top until he dragged me into the stairwell and kissed me breathless. We were fire waiting to explode. Again and again. One Friday, everything changed. We had a major client presentation in the boardroom. Big investors. Lots of eyes. I stood beside him, handing out documents, keeping my head down like a good assistant. But I could feel it, the tension. The way his gaze lingered on my lips. The way his fingers brushed mine when he took the clicker. No one noticed, but I felt it. He wanted me, right there, in front of everyone. And then came the bomb. One of the clients, Mr. Takahashi, middle-aged, smug, looked at me and said, Your assistant's very pretty, Saito-san. You sure he's just here for the reports? The room went silent. My face burned. I tried to laugh it off, but before I could say a word, Kaito stood. His chair scraped the floor. He turned to Mr. Takahashi, eyes dark like a storm. You'll speak to my assistant with respect, he said. Cold, sharp, deadly calm. Takahashi chuckled nervously. It was a compliment. Kaito cut him off. He's not here to look good. He's here because I trust him. He's sharp, loyal, and if anyone touches him without my permission again, he leaned in closer. I'll make sure you never work with this company again. The whole table froze. I stared at him. My heart raced, not because he defended me, but because he did it like I was already his. After the meeting, he said nothing, just walked out. But that night, he called me. Come over. His voice sounded different, softer, raw. I didn't hesitate. I let myself into his penthouse with the spare key he gave me after Kyoto. He was waiting, standing by the window in sweatpants and a black tee, barefoot, hair messy. The city lights behind him glowed, but his eyes were on me. I shouldn't have snapped, he said. I walked up to him. But you did. He looked away. It's getting hard to keep you a secret. My heart skipped. So don't. He turned back to me. You're the only one who's ever made me feel like this, he said. And I've had a lot of people try. I smiled, stepping into his arms. I'm not trying, I whispered. I already have you. He pulled me close, held me tighter than usual, and kissed me like he meant it. We didn't make love that night like we did before. We didn't rip clothes or whisper dirty promises. No, that night, we just held each other. On the couch, on the bed, in the shower, our fingers tangled. Our lips met again and again. And somewhere in the early hours, he whispered, "You're mine, Yudo. No more pretending." The next day, he made it official. Not public, not yet, but real. He put a silver ring on my finger. Simple, discreet, just a plain band. "This means you belong to me," he said, "even when the world doesn't know it." I looked up at him, smiling. "And you? What are you wearing?" He smirked. "A locked heart." I laughed, wrapping my arms around his waist. "Then I guess I have the key. Now, we're still a secret, at least to the public. But the late-night phone calls, the texts that say, 'Come over,' the lingering kisses before I leave for work, it's all real. I don't care if we hide a little longer, because I know every time I walk into that office and hear him say, 'Assistant Yudo,' with that cold voice, he's thinking about what I look like under his sheets. And at night, when I call him Daddy just to tease, he smiles, and I know I'm his. The end. Thank you for watching Call Me Daddy Assistant Yuto on Cherryboyhearts BL. Love steamy BL anime stories? Want more romantic, intense, and emotional episodes? Subscribe to our channel, Cherryboyhearts. Turn on notifications so you don't miss our next wild love story. Drop a comment below. More stories, please, if you want more. And don't forget to share this with your fellow BL lovers. See you in our next upload.